Hey everyone, this is Devin from ProjectNoLimits, and we've got another question today. Today is our question from Ask.fm, and it says, how do I overcome bad habits such as laziness? So let's begin. I'm lazy, everyone I've ever met is lazy, and the most successful people in the world are lazy. But there's still a percentage of people that manage to get things done that other people don't. Why is that? Why is it that some people have these targets they can reach and other people have a hard time getting to those targets? I really think that there's one big reason for that, and that's the reason that we're going to go over today. First off, we have to ditch that explanation that some people are lazy and some people aren't. That's a really easy way out, because it automatically allows you to say, oh, I'm just the type of person that doesn't get stuff done. And then as soon as you take that power away from yourself, you've made that a reality. You don't accept any reason or any way that you could possibly just not be a lazy person. You accept that, and so now you've just removed the power from yourself and you're already in trouble. But I think the real reason is a lot more simple, and it has to do with how we think about our targets and how we think about our outcomes. Your thing to do just lacks emotional connection and substance. It lacks a real reason why you want to do that thing, and you've probably never defined it. So today I want to really break down how to define a target, how to define an outcome, and become clear about it so that you can become motivated enough to succeed in it. Let's look at step one, and that's to look at the target itself. So let's take one goal that you want to do, one target, one outcome, one result you want to produce, and let's look at what is at the end of it. What is the real reason you're doing this in the first place? What do you want out of your goal? What's the real reason? What are you trying to have it produce for you? And what's it going to do for your life? Why is it going to matter? Thinking of something like physical fitness, for example, really defining what is at the end of that goal, how you're going to feel, how you're going to look, how you're going to be, and what is it going to do for your life? Why does it actually matter that you're going to become physically fit and lose a few pounds? How can you change or reword or restructure that goal of becoming physically fit? What's that thing you could say instead that would make you just really fired up to do that thing? And how could you define it in a more specific way that would get you really excited about its result? Also think about how emotional are you when you're connected to this. Chances are you probably need to get a lot more feeling in you about this issue. You probably aren't going to move a mountain for a report that your teacher wants done next week. That's something you're going to do at the last minute at 1 a.m. and it's not going to be a big deal. You'll get around to it, right? But if someone has a gun to your head, then you'll probably do anything to save your life. And the difference in those two things is the emotional connection to the issue. You're very connected to keeping your life and to living, but you're not so connected to doing the teacher's report. And the difference in issues allows you to illustrate this point, that you can see that the real difference is how we get there emotionally and how we connect ourselves emotionally. So what are some of the practices that we can do to actually make this happen? The first one is take a sheet of paper and write out everything you can think about that is going to be the most painful if you don't complete this, if you don't accomplish it. How are people going to think of you? How are people going to look at you? How is it going to affect your life and health? What kind of person would you have become if you had actually succeeded at this? And you want to be very clear about this. It's got to be very specific. And at the same time, you want to also create a paragraph that is, what's it going to be like if you succeed? How are people going to look at you differently then? What kind of person are you going to be? How would you feel knowing that you succeeded this thing? And what would it feel like to take control of something and do something that you choose and really be clear about that? And I can't emphasize enough, when you're emphasizing your points for failure and your points for success, you need to be very, very specific about this. Get really connected to the result. If you can't connect good reasons to it, either you're not thinking hard enough about it or your goal just sucks. Your goal's not big enough, your goal's not important enough to you, and if that's the case, really rethink it, expand on it, and consider why you're doing it in the first place. Maybe it's something that's not worth your time, or maybe it's something that you need to restructure your goal, and you need to restructure the way that you're thinking about it. Finally, once you have those kind of points on paper and you have the plan, you have the paragraph that says, okay, this is what's going to be if it's going to be really painful, this is what's going to be if I accomplish this, if I make this happen, what's your actual goal going to be? How are you going to get to your target? So if it's a simple thing, then just plan a time today or tomorrow to complete it. your emotional commitment that you wrote down should be enough to see it through. Just plan the time. But if it's advanced, then you might need to break it down into more mini steps and think about what you could do on your free time, maybe an hour or two a day, and schedule it. Your daily work should lead you up to that outcome. I think timing this and holding yourself to that time is really critical. If you decide to do something at 3 p.m., make sure you're there at 3 p.m. The best thing to do is to time and schedule yourself in such a way that you are committed to doing it and you can't get around that. Also, I'd recommend scheduling your difficult projects early in the day. I like to get the tough stuff out of the way pretty early, and then your day's already a success if you've completed it. So try to schedule the thing that you're going to try to do as early as possible to try to reach your goal. And that's really how you beat laziness. It might seem like it takes a lot of time to write down your emotions about like every goal. And at first it is going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot more time than you're used to actually define what kind of goal that you want and really become clear about it. But it's important because after a while, you're only really going to need to do that for very big goals. And what you're doing is you're teaching your brain to make emotional connections to issues that you want to complete. And your brain will automatically start to do that for very small things in your life after a while, because you'll start doing it for the small things. Your brain will like search for that mechanism to locate and find out, oh, how do I get emotional about this? How do I feel strongly about this issue? And then suddenly you'll realize what that issue is automatically and you won't have to write it down. That's the way to getting to a fulfilled life, is to become very clear about your emotional connection to those issues. And that's about it. That would be the #1 thing I'd recommend for laziness, my friend. And just to recap a little bit, you need to become very clear about the reasons why you're doing things. A lot of people don't think about this. You have to write down in a paragraph, what are the most painful things that are going to happen if you don't accomplish your target? And you have to write down, what are the most pleasurable things? How awesome am I going to feel? How great is this going to be? How great are people going to look at? Try to really get into what motivates you personally and what creates these impetuses for you, because it's different for everybody. A lot of people are motivated by pain. They want to avoid something that would create suffering in their life. But other people are really motivated by success, and they want to think about all the things that would be amazing if they did accomplish this thing. So try to get very clear about what motivates you. Hey, sorry about that super awkward cut. Unfortunately, the last part of the video actually corrupted, so I lost the last minute. I just wanted to recap on the laziness issue and just go over it one more time, which is, here's what you gotta do. All you gotta do is define your target, define that outcome, be very clear about what you want, and then get your emotional reasons behind why you really want that goal. So it could be, sometime you might be motivated more towards that painful thing where you might want to say, oh, this is what I don't want to happen, then you want to write that down. Or some of you might be more motivated towards being goal-oriented. You want to see what happens when you succeed. You want to see what happens when that success is yours and how it feels in your body, how it feels in your mind. So get very clear about those issues. Get really clear about that pain and pleasure principle that's going to carry you to be able to accomplish that result. And just remember that everyone is naturally lazy. Everyone, that's you know, we started this video off that way. Everybody is naturally lazy. Everybody feels that way. Everybody feels like they don't want to get up in the morning and go do that thing. But the real thing that defines successful people, the thing that makes successful people actually go and do that thing anyway, is because they have very clear reasons behind why they want to do that thing. So don't think of yourself as lazy, and definitely don't write yourself off and say, oh, I'm just a lazy person. I can't accomplish this. I can't get that done. That's not true. You just haven't really clearly defined your reasons behind why you really want to do this and why you're really engaged. Don't be afraid to write this stuff down. At first, it might seem like it's going to take a little bit more time. It's going to take a little bit more than you're used to write this stuff down. But after you do this a couple of times, your brain is going to connect these things automatically. And instead of being in a situation where you go, I don't feel like doing that, instead, you'll be in a situation where you go, wait, what are the reasons why I want to connect to this? And you'll automatically connect. Your brain will find those reasons, and you'll find yourself a more productive person overall. So sorry again for the weird video cut. That's the end of the video, and thanks a lot for watching this. Thank you for supporting Project No Limits the way you guys do. And hey, if you have any comments, you have anything that you want to talk about with your experience with laziness, or maybe how you've overcome it or become more productive, post on the comments section below. And our new website, ProjectNoLimits.com, is just about ready. I'm really excited about it. So more on that in the next couple of videos. Thanks a lot. This is Devin from Project No Limits. I'll see you again next time.